Lance, this is for you. What vision do you have for the Logan-Hocking school system?
My vision for the school system is that we do have great teachers here and we have great students. I see that in the students that I work with as far as coaching them out on the basketball floor and seeing activities that they get involved in and taking that and being able to work hand in hand with the students as well as the faculty, so that we can make sure that we're doing everything that we can to encourage a pride that comes from within, from being from Logan and being part of the Logan system, the Logan schools, being a chieftain. And I think that if we continue to build relationships where we have open communication between the staff, the teachers, and we take the time to work with the students, to listen to what both the students and the staff need, that we can continue to grow together to build the pride that is needed for this. My vision is that I want to be able to be part of helping the young people in this community find the success that they're looking for in life, and knowing that it was given to them because of the opportunities that have been provided to them through the school system.
Mr. Bell, this question is also for you. In your opening, you mentioned that there's a disconnect between the school board and the students. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more and why you think that?
I don't know if there's an actual disconnect between the school board and the students. Like I said, from a perspective of being an outsider looking in, to fully understand everything the board does, I need to go from the sideline and get into the game. And the disconnect that I see, that I hear in the community, is that the students don't seem to be always at the top of the priority list as far as their concerns and their needs. But also the disconnect seems to be between the faculty, the teachers, and what's going on at the board level, administration. That's what I hear a lot about, and that's what I'm interested in finding out more about, and having an opportunity to work with board members to learn the ins and the outs, everything that it takes to be a successful board member, and then working with the faculty and understanding all the plans so that we can continue to grow the school system and program as a team. I've always felt, as far as being a coach, that the most successful teams are the ones that communicate and they talk to each other. And the things that I observe and hear when I'm in the public, there seems to be a lot of either miscommunication or misunderstanding between what's going on in the school levels and above the schools.
And this question is for Mrs. Rinehart. A frequent topic of discussion in the news media has been the increased cost of going to college and the difficulty in finding a job after graduation. Unsurprisingly, enrollment is down at many colleges and universities, with many suggesting that education is the next economic bubble. As a parent and a member of the school board, how would you advise a high school student or parent of a high school student to analyze the cost and benefit of attending college?
As a parent of two students that are going to be entering college soon, it's scary. How would okay, your question is how I would advise them? Wow. I first would look as far as a student selecting a college. That's a enormous task, and here you are, an 18-year-old student or 17-year-old student, and you're being asked to decide what are you going to do for the next number of years, you know, and it's a very tough choice of deciding on school, and financing is always an issue. You know, our guidance counselors are one avenue that I definitely would draw upon within our schools. I mean, they are there for that reason, to help you to select schools and to help you look at financial aid. I know that there's several college fairs that go on. I was recently in a meeting with the president of Hocking College, and in fact, they're going to be having a financial aid meeting where students can go and learn, not even if you're going to Hocking College, but if you're going to any college. You know, so I would encourage, you know, students to take, and parents to take part in anything like that, anything they can do to educate themselves. Save, which I don't know that we've been so good at doing that, but that's tough. I mean, you've got to, like I said, just use the resources that you have and try to learn as much as you can about the schools and how you can get that financial aid. Marry rich, I don't know. I didn't.
Next question, please.
Okay, well, we'll move off of that topic. This question is for Corby. House Bill 59, which passed this summer, allows schools to design the school calendar in hours rather than days. Would changing from a calendar based on days to a calendar based on hours benefit Logan-Hocking schools, and if so, how would the schools benefit?
Okay, Karen, that's a great question, and I thank you for asking it. For those of us that are parents in this district, we know of things called snow days. And I think our district and our administration do an excellent job of managing those snow days and using the delay system and the early dismissal system to work around the weather. The recent changes coming down from Columbus, setting forth hour requirements as opposed to day requirements, will help us tremendously. If you look at our school day as we sit here now, we are actually going longer than what you would consider a normal school day. Now, part of the reason we do that is because we're busing over the entire county, and we've got to coordinate on that. Our buses are driving 5,000 miles a day in this county, and our bus drivers work very hard to do that. So that's the main reason we have extra hours in the day right now. So that change will actually allow us to better manage our calamity days and snow days, because instead of having 5 calamity days, it'll be based on hours. And if we are accumulating extra hours, you know, say it's an extra 15 minutes of each day, and you accumulate those over time, that is quite a bit over an entire 180-plus day school year. So I think it's going to be a tremendous help for this district, and I was glad personally to see that change. I want to make one other comment off from that about the alleged disconnect. Lance mentioned a disconnect. I do want to say that this Board of Education has worked very hard to connect with our teachers, our administration, and our students. And you have seen it I hope in the paper and read about it, where for the first time in the history of this district, we've brought 2 student representatives from the high school onto the board. Those students are elected by their peers, and they are communicating with us on a regular basis, and that is, I just want to refute the comment that there's a disconnect, because we have 2 excellent student representatives on this Board of Education, and they are doing an outstanding job. The other thing I want to talk about is open communication. In the past recent years, we have established an open door policy to allow anyone in the district to communicate with anyone else. All doors are open. This board has that written down in our board policy. I encourage you to go to our district website and look that policy up, because it is written down. The other thing the board has done is our board outreach program, where we rotate among our school buildings and we go out and participate with our students and our staff in their daily activities. I want to make sure I corrected those statements. Thank you.
This question is for Corby. The old West School site went up for auction. What are the plans for the old East School site?
That's a great question. For right now, it's a beautiful lot sitting there, and my hope right now is that the neighborhood based on data that was current at that time. Well, we went through a building cycle where this was the first building we built, and we went to get all of our buildings and the construction done. Well, over time, what's happened is those populations have moved into the city. Now we have a greater population living in the city limits than out in the outlying schools. So just this school year, and Chieftain Elementary here was affected, we had to move some students from Central to Chieftain to allow for that to happen. Now, as we focused on the east property, as we analyzed all the data available and all the property that we have currently, we felt prudent to retain that property, not liquidate it, because if that trend continues, there could be a need 10, 15, 20 years down the road that there might need to be another school built in town. And we don't want to be locked and not be able to provide that service to this community.
Hi, Corby, this is for you. What would you say are some of the biggest problems facing graduates today as far as choosing the correct college to go to and the right field to go in?
Well, Gretchen, that's a good question. You know what? One of the most unfair things about life is you got to make a critical decision before you have the life experience to make that critical decision. And we've all experienced that. I think we have, and Susan mentioned our guidance department. We have some excellent people in there that are very well trained and coach our students on what to do. I think probably the biggest problem is for them to find funding to go to school. And if any of you have been to Scholars Night, which is an awesome event every spring, where scholarships are awarded and you see how this community gives to our students, I think that is an awesome tool that will help our students get to that college level and prepare. Now, in addition, our curriculum is outstanding. I think the biomed program was mentioned here, and the agriculture program, the band program, the music program. We are exposing our students to as many areas as we can. The industrial arts program. I mean, I could go on and on about the opportunities that are available to our students in high school and approaching the college level. And I think that curriculum and those opportunities are also a critical component to helping them with their college success.
This question is for Mr. Scarmack. You said that you could be more responsive to community concerns than the current school board members. Could you identify some specific examples of policy decisions in which you would have voted differently than your opponents and explain why?
Are you referring to a quote in the newspaper or something?
Yes, I am.
Where I said I could improve upon the communication between the board and community members and give you a specific example of what issue that might entail. I can speak to my experience as a